Welcome in, boys and girls. Let's get it, man. Last night, a couple nice plays from there. Hopefully, you guys was here as always. Take what you want, leave the other ones that you're not too sure about. If I'm looking one way or the other, that's because I'm looking at two different cameras at the same time, right? Now, unfortunately, I might have to find some other plays for you guys. I do have enough time to do so. Because two of the games that I was going to start with, they both start at 7:30 and it's 7:30 right now. So basically, if you're not betting on sportsbook, then it'd be hard to catch some of these plays, right? The first one I was going to look at, you got the Boston Celtics taking on the Brooklyn Nets. Boston 41-12 on the season. Brooklyn 21-31 on the season so far. Brooklyn 13-16 at home so far. Boston is 16-9 away from the Garden Center, right? So in this one, of course, Boston is one of the better juggernauts in the NBA. So I do like them to actually win this game. But one of my plays from that game that I was going to have, as I said, these plays are if you have sports, because if you're betting on the store, you probably wouldn't be able to catch them, right? But if you still can, I do like my first play would be Jaylen Brown over 20.5 points on the line. I simply believe that is too low, and maybe that's a credit because he haven't been playing too well over his last few games. But Jaylen Brown is a guy that sometimes he can be streaky, right? But then he's also a guy that, in terms of like PRA and stuff like that, he's also a guy that average about 15 and a half PRA, first quarter PRA, that's points, rebounds, and assists for the first quarter. So I do like Jaylen Brown over 20.5 points. As I said, if you can still catch that, I got to run through some of the other games.
What would you get with almost $750?
Some of the other games I'll probably be able to catch.
Smartwatch.
I'll probably be able to catch and give a little bit more details towards those games because those games have a little more start time for those one. But yeah, from my official play from the Boston Celtics game, it would be Jaylen Brown over 20.5 points. I think he should have a good night tonight. Some of my other matchups that I'm looking at would also be the Thunder taking on the Orlando Magic, right? And in that game specifically, I'm looking at Banchero because I think his line is too low for his assists. I'm not sure about his points or nothing like that, but his assists definitely I'm looking towards that because now they have him on the line for 5.5 assists, right? Basically 6. Now his potential assist is at 10.5. So pretty much what that means is the guys he passing the ball to. So pretty much every night he played, on average, he got a chance to get 11 assists if when he passed the ball to his teammates, they actually make it. So 10.5 potential assists. We asking for almost half of that, which would be 5.5. And he is taking on the Thunder, right? Well, Orlando is taking on the Thunder. But the 2 times this season that they have played the Thunder, he have gotten what? He have gotten 6 and 8 assists. So that's really good out of those 2 sample size, right? So, and not only that, for the line at 5.5 assists, he went over that in 10 straight games. So currently, the last 10 straight games, he have hit 6+ assists, and they continue to keep that there. So we're going to try to, get a little edge on the book. So that's one of the plays I like. And I said I do support that as well because 2 games that he did play Oklahoma City, he had got 6 and 8 assists, right? So if you're able to catch those 2 plays, then you should be good from that one. If you guys are just tuning in, then guess what? Jaylen Brown from the Boston Celtics, 20.5 on the line. I think that's a little bit too low for him. I definitely believe that he will go over that. If not, you can just take him for 20+, leave off the hook. And for the Orlando Magic taking on the Thunder, I do like Banchero to go over 5.5 assists. And also on that one, you can add the Orlando Magic plus 10.5. And I say that because on the road, right? So when the Thunder is basically a favorite on the road, they're 7-8 straight up. So they won 7 games, they lost 8 of them, right? At home, Orlando Magic as a home underdog, they have won 7 games and only lost 4. Now the difference is, out of those games that the Thunder won, they have only they're only covering the spread by like maybe they're winning close games, so maybe like 1, maybe 2 points, right? But Orlando, when they're a home underdog, right, with the spread, they're covering the spread by at least 4, and currently the spread is only like 2.5. I think it went up to a solid 3. So Orlando plus 10.5. They do have one of the better defenses in the NBA, and also whoever is the center that's playing for the Orlando Magic, you can look at that. You can look at them for their rebounds, probably to go over as well, because Oklahoma City Thunder, they give up the most rebounds to the center position, right? So that's going to be a good mark right there for in terms of rebounds from that one, right? And then I think my computer is down a little bit. I want to make sure that I got everything that I want to get for you guys, because I was looking at the Miami Heat taking on the Milwaukee Bucks. And yesterday, as you guys can see, I don't know how many people that actually kept up with the game, but the Denver Nuggets was actually in Milwaukee to take on the Milwaukee. Of course, we know that they do have a new head coach in Doc Rivers, formerly used to coach for the Sixers, of course. Also used to coach for Boston, in which he did win a championship with them, of course. But nonetheless, now that Doc Rivers is there, Milwaukee is more on an emphasis of defense, because Doc Rivers, he is a defensive-minded coach, right? So now, a lot of those games that under their previous head coaches that Milwaukee would have the lead, but in the third quarter, or I should say in the fourth quarter, they would be up by 15, 20 points and somehow manage to lose the game, right? But with Doc Rivers, I expect some of those things to change, right? And in that game, you don't have Jimmy Butler is not playing for Miami. You got Terry Rozier, he's out. And also Josh Richardson, he's not playing as well. So those are 3 guys that, of course, Rozier, he just got there, whatever. But without knowing Jimmy, I'm looking so more towards Tyler Hero, right? And on the line, they have him for 23 and a half points. If you guys like that, I do support that as well. But for me, I'm more focused on his 3-pointers just because, right? Just because. So in the 12 games that Tyler Hero have played without Jimmy Butler, so 12 games Jimmy Butler did not play, Tyler Hero actually went over his 3-point mark at 3.5, 9 out of those 12 times, right? So what I'm going to do in that one, I like Tyler Hero. So if you want to take him for threes, if you want to take him on the line regular for 3.5, I probably would ladder him up all the way for him to get like 5 threes. I do support that. So if you want to take him regular on the line, I do support Tyler Hero over 3.5 made threes. I would ladder him up all the way to 5. But if you want to take a simpler approach, I would take him for 3+ threes with same game parlay. I would take him for three made threes, under 0.5 blocks. You feel me? Because in terms of blocks, right, he's hitting it at 93% for him not getting a block. So all season long, out of the 50-something games that they have played so far, he only got about 1 block. I promise you, he only got maybe one block. So for him not to get a block, if you should just take that on the line, it's going to be like a minus 750. But if you take him for 3+ threes with him not to record a block and say Milwaukee to win, that should get you a nice plus money right there for a same game parlay, right? We talk about the Orlando. We talk about Jaylen Brown, Banchero. We got Hero in there. Now, as I said, I do like the Milwaukee Bucks to win that game. Reason being, even though they're on a back-to-back, reason being, right? Milwaukee is ranked first in the NBA in terms of limiting points in the paint. Simple meaning, when somebody drives to the rim, they make it very hard for you to score because They do have Giannis down there, which is one of the better shot blockers in the NBA. And you do have Brook Lopez, which if you want to take him for a block or, or something like that, maybe even 2 blocks, I do support that as well because Brook Lopez is one of the better rim protectors in the NBA along with Giannis. And we can't forget Bobby Portis as well. But Milwaukee, as I said, is ranked number 1 in terms of limiting points in the paint. And Miami Heat, that's where they feed at. They like to drive to the rim. They like to get, N1s opportunities, which mean they're going to be shooting free throws. But without no Jimmy, without no Terry Rozier, without no Josh Richardson, makes things a little bit more difficult for them, especially when Milwaukee thrive on protecting the rim, so to speak. And especially with Doc Rivers being in there, I don't expect them to blow as many leads as they was doing previously before. And Pat Beverly, as we know, he might headbutt somebody, so who knows, right? My last one I got for you guys is going to be you got the Sacramento Kings. They taking on the Phoenix Suns. In that one, I got a couple plays from that one. My first one is going to be probably looking at under in that particular game. Reason being, those two teams combined, they have played, I believe, 7 games altogether. 4 was in Phoenix, I believe, and 3 was in Sacramento. But whenever they played in Phoenix, the games tend to go under. So they're averaging, combined, they're averaging about maybe 233 on average when they play in Phoenix versus when they play in Sacramento, which they normally average about 249. So what I'm going to do on that one, I'm going to do an outlier. So I'm going to alter the points right there. So what I would do in that one, I would raise the points all the way up to like maybe 50.5 right there to give you some security, because I do expect the game to go under because, as I said, when they play in Phoenix, the games normally average about 233, 239 versus when they play in Sacramento, the games normally, teams combined normally average about 249. So 250.5 should give us some sort of a security. But one of my bigger takeaway from that game is going to be Sabonis, because sometimes when you do this and you actually start to get into it, now you start to see things that just doesn't make sense, right? So I'm not saying for you guys to put your whole bankroll on this particular play, but I definitely believe that it's worth a sprinkle, right? So put a small amount on this particular play. I do support it all the way. So crazy thing, right? So you got Sabonis. Now I'm looking at his triple-double. Depends on where you're betting at. It might be a plus 135, a plus 145 on some sportsbook. They have it all the way up to a plus 175, right? And the reason why I'm looking at his triple-double for a small sprinkle is because so it's been 20 games this season that Sabonis have had 10 plus assists, right? 20 games, he had 10 plus assists. Now, in those 20 games, 19 out of 20 games, he had a triple-double. That is correct. 20 games, he had 10 plus assists, and 19 out of those games, he had a triple-double. So why not try that, right? And 12 out of those 19 games that he had a triple-double, the Sacramento Kings actually came away with that. So if you like the Kings, you might want to support that. For me particularly, I'm more so on the Suns. I can't really trust Sacramento that much, knowing the fact that they was at home when Detroit beat them, right? So I can't trust Sacramento that much. So for me, I'm going to lay the points with the Phoenix Suns. I see that they did bump it to 4.5. I'm actually going to take that back down to Phoenix Suns. You can do minus 3.5, minus 2.5 with the game under 250.5, and also a small sprinkle on Sabonis to get a triple-double. That should be a small little parlay for yourself. You bet that right there by itself. If you just want to bet him for a triple-double by itself, I do support that. And as I said, the reason being, 20 games this season, he had 10 plus assists. 19 out of those 20 games that he had 10 plus assists, he had a triple-double, right? So that's 19 out of 20 games that he had a triple-double. Now, in 12 out of those 19 games that he had a triple-double, Sacramento's won 12 games out of those 19. So said for a small sprinkle on Sabonis to get a triple double, I think that's a good play. But in terms of a side in that particular game, I'm laying the points with Phoenix. I believe that Kevin Durant and Devin Booker, maybe even Bradley Beal as well, do enough to contribute. Now, on a different angle, if you don't want to take him for the triple double, you're a little bit more scared of that. I would still say that you can take Sabonis for maybe 7 rebounds. Excuse my language. Fuck that. You can take him for 10 rebounds, 7 assists, right? And that right there should get you right if you don't want to take the triple double angle, right? So that's still a nice play for you right there. All right. That's all I got for you guys. Please remember, like, subscribe to the YouTube channel in your search bar at ATOSBets. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Win or lose, see what you take the ones that you like, leave the ones that you're not too sure about. I'm pretty sure I gave you enough plays for anything that you want to catch in there for you guys to actually try to make yourself some money. Look forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Have a good night, all right?